Happy Monday, everybody. I don't know why I've gotten into the habit of singing to you guys, but I really love singing, so I guess I'm killing two birds in one stone in that I'm singing, which makes me happy, and I'm educating and hopefully entertaining and bringing insight into other people's lives, which I love to do as well. So there you go. Today, we're talking about courage. And I want to take you on a quick little journey. Just an FYI, there is some gritty details in this journey, so if you're bothered or triggered easily, you may want to shut this newsletter off now as a way to protect your own energy, nervous system, spirit, all the things. In 2019, I get a call. My sister died. I show up in her apartment in San Diego, and unbeknownst to me, she had thrown up all her blood. She had bled out because she perforated her stomach. In that moment, and I've shared this with many people, I made a promise, I made a commitment, I made a vow that I was going to change my life and the lives of my children to not only break the generational trauma and to live well for myself and for Shelley, but hopefully to break free from the suffering that I had been experiencing all of my life, really, despite my efforts to learn tools and strategies. I struggled, right? That was the beginning. I made a commitment, which means I promised myself I would follow through. But it wasn't until I had courage that I was able to actually execute on that promise to myself. And what do I mean by that? Well, after making that decision, I got an instant insight, the need to drive cross country with my sister's things. I've never driven cross country by myself. I was going to be driving my sister's car. I didn't know anything about her car. And so I shared what I planned to do with my family, and immediately they were telling me I couldn't do it. It was too scary. I was a girl, blah, blah, blah. So despite my intuitive knowing, external forces were trying to convince me that what I knew I needed to do, I shouldn't do. That took courage. It took courage to follow through on doing something I'd never done, that I was not prepared to do, and I really didn't have any clear idea of what the outcome was, other than I needed to do this to heal from the experience I had just had in my sister's apartment, so I didn't bring it home to my children. On the way across country, I ran into three different sets of weather patterns: an ice storm, a rain and wind storm, and then, of course, sun. And there were moments in that journey where I was gripped with crippling fear. I told myself I couldn't go on and I needed to stop and I needed to get help. But courage kept me going, taking deep breaths, asking to be led, with faith, surrendering. Whether or not you believe in a higher power or not, faith in myself, faith in my ability to do this really hard task, right? So 3 days later, 1 hour of sleep, and I pull into the driveway of my house. And what now? I just made a commitment to change the way I live, the way I experience life. And I knew I had to make changes. But how was I going to do that when I didn't have a clear path? And I didn't. All I knew was things needed to change. I could not keep drinking 2 bottles of wine at night. I could not keep working 12 to 15 hours a day and feeling disconnected and detached from my children. So I had to impart courage again on myself and ask to be guided and be given the way, the path. And opportunities started to present themselves. My first opportunity was I wasn't going to go back to the job I knew, secure paycheck. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I couldn't do that. And again, each step along the way, I was faced with adversity, because I truly believe that as we make a commitment to change as we step into self-discovery, expansion, growth. The path is unknown. We're all different. So even if people guide you, you're your own unique person who's going to navigate the path your own way, right? You don't have a clear idea of what it is you're gonna achieve. You don't know. I just knew I needed peace. I didn't know what that looked like. And so I had to I had to call upon courage throughout all of my moments of change to help me stay the course. Because if I didn't have courage, I would have quit a long time ago. In fact, I can wholeheartedly tell you guys, as a business owner in the mental health field and in the energy field, I have to call upon courage all the time because it's a business that, it hasn't always been easy to navigate and circumvent and do all the things. So my newsletter for you today is this: addiction can keep you in fear. It can. Mental health, anxiety, depression, right? Panic, all of these disorders, bipolar or whatever it is, can really keep you stuck in patterns of behavior or patterns of thinking. And it takes courage. It takes courage to dream that you can experience life differently. It takes courage to reach out, pick up the phone and say, I need help. It takes courage to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm in trouble. I'm drowning. I don't know how to get out of this. It takes courage to ask for a raise. It takes courage to let your kids know, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know we're going to get through it. And so this week, I really want to encourage you guys to lean into courage. Lean into doing something small that feels uncomfortable, that may seem impossible to achieve. Even if it's putting your resume out there to get a new job, right? Takes courage because we can be rejected. But the reality is as you start to show yourself that you are courageous, that you have the ability to do things that make you feel uncomfortable, you grow and you teach yourself that you in fact have the ability to do anything and create a life that feels really good and supportive for you outside of the good opinions of other people, right? And that's really why I do this work, guys. It's because I continue to have to show up courageously. I'm constantly challenged because of my views and how I live life and my unapologetic way of showing up in the world. And yet, I can look at myself in the mirror and love every part of who I am every day, regardless of how other people view me. And that is what I want for all of my community and what I want for the whole world, is to be able to say, I can do hard things. People don't have to understand me. And I can live joyfully. So today, and all days, do one thing that feels hard. Do one thing that causes you to tap into your courageous spirit and step out into the unknown. I promise you, it will be far greater of a journey than you think. But the experiences and the lessons and the joy that you have along the way far exceed the unknown, the fear, and the often at times difficult paths that you end up facing to get to that place. So with deep love, if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, feedback, any topics you want me to talk about, please reach out. Leave me a message. I'm happy to reach out. And as always, thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I am in deep gratitude and appreciation for all of you and wish you all a joy, laughter, and love-filled week.